long would it take one of the NFL's worst teams to win a Super Bowl if they could add a superstar after every season? Well, today, we are gonna find out. On the wheel are 5 teams that ended the 2024 season at the bottom of the standings, and not one of these teams are close to being Super Bowl contenders, which is gonna make today's challenge even more difficult. Let's spin the wheel to see which team will be helping today, and I mean, all these rosters are not very good. Okay, we got the Patriots. Unfortunately, they don't have a single superstar X Factor on their entire roster. On the bright side though, Christian Gonzalez is definitely shaping up to be an emerging superstar in the league. And the way we're gonna help Christian Gonzalez and the Patriots win a Super Bowl is after every single season we fail to lift the Lombardi trophy, we'll get to spin this wheel. The wheel includes the remaining 31 NFL teams, and whichever team it lands on, we get to steal one of their superstars. After season 1, the Patriots ended with a 3-14 record, which is actually worse than their real life record. That's definitely not good because from here on out, every season we fail to win a Super Bowl, I'll have to discard one of my really expensive players on my MUT team. I have spent so much time building this team, and not to mention, it's really expensive. So we really need these superstars to step up, not just for Christian Gonzalez, but also for me and my MUT team. Alright, first spin, just give me the Vikings so I can pair Drake May with a superstar wide receiver like Justin Jefferson, but nope, it's the Browns. Not exactly a great team this year, but they do have multiple superstars including Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb. Honestly, the Patriots roster could definitely use either one of these players, but let's go ahead and add Myles Garrett to the team. As we head into season 2, the team is still a mess, especially on offense where Hunter Henry is the highest rated player at just an 81 overall. And at this rate, it might seriously take 10 seasons to pull this off. With that being said, there are ways to earn extra superstar spins for the team. Any of our players lead the league in one of these 6 categories, we'll earn an extra spin. Still, I highly doubt we'll be topping any offensive categories anytime soon. Let's see how year 2 goes, especially since players on my MUT team are now on the line for the rest of this video. Unfortunately, we failed to make the playoffs yet again. Before we check if any of our players led the league in one of the 6 categories, our team had the 28th ranked offense and the 16th ranked defense, which isn't very encouraging. Let's see if any of our players led the league in any offensive category. Nope, not a single Patriots player topped any offensive category. But maybe Myles Garrett or Christian Gonzalez managed to shine? Nope. Myles Garrett did rack up 8 sacks, which isn't terrible, but it's clear we still have a lot of work to do. Time to get our next superstar. Unfortunately, no extra spins for us this year, but we do get to snake a player from the Jets. 77 overall Aaron Rodgers is not an option because we actually want to win. We could boost our offense with Devontae Adams or Garrett Wilson, but can we really pass up on Sauce Gardner or Quinnen Williams? As tempting as it is to upgrade our offense, I have to go with Sauce Gardner to give Christian Gonzalez some much needed help in the secondary. After all, they do say defense wins championships. Heading into season 3, we now have 2 superstar X Factors on defense, but our offense remains untouched. And after simming the entire season, the Patriots finished with a 4-13 record, somehow worse than last year. We started 3-0 and then completely fell apart. We ended up finishing at the bottom of most rankings, and while Jelani Tavai managed to finish in the top 3 for tackles, it wasn't enough to earn us that extra superstar spin. It's clear we desperately need to add some offense to this team, or I'm gonna end up losing so many players off my MUT team. At the moment, we have to discard 2 players off my MUT team by the end of the video. The next spin lands on the 49ers. Tough decision, but we need to focus on offense, even though Fred Warner would be an amazing addition. It was down to either George Kittle or Christian McCaffrey. Our rushing game has been awful for the past few seasons, so I'm going with Christian McCaffrey to help Drake May out on the offense. The team starts the season at an 81 overall, but will it be enough to win more games than we lose? Well, season 4 doesn't look good as we didn't make the playoffs, but we are improving, finishing with 6 wins and ranking 8th in rushing yards per game, while our run defense also came in 8th. Even though we missed the playoffs, did any of our players lead the league in one of the 6 categories? Nope. This is getting really frustrating. TMC only had 831 rushing yards, while our receivers could not top that 1,000-yard mark this year. It's become pretty clear to me that until we add a superstar quarterback, we might not be able to compete for a Super Bowl. On a more positive note, Sauce Gardner finished with 6 interceptions this season, just one short of tying DJ Reed's league-leading 7. I now have to discard a 3rd player off my MUT team. Before we head into season number 5, let's spin the wheel of the remaining NFL teams to see which superstar gets to join our roster, and it's the Vikings. Absolute no-brainer adding Justin Jefferson to give Drake May another playmaker. I know we need an elite quarterback, there's no way we can rely on adding Sam Darnold. With a superstar wide receiver add to the roster, our team is now up to an 83 overall. Instead of simming the entire season off the jump, let's go to the midseason to see if we stand a chance. Okay, we have 3 wins and 4 losses. Could definitely have been worse. Unfortunately, none of our superstars are leading the way in any of the 6 categories yet, but we are top 10 in passing and rushing at the moment. Let's sim all the way to the playoffs to see if we somehow turn things around. Oh, we finished with an 8-9 record, just missing out on a playoff spot. We definitely improved this season, but sadly, none of our players led the league in any of the 6 categories, so we only get 1 superstar spin, and that means another player needs to be discarded from my MUT team. On the bright side, CMC did hit 1,000 rushing yards, and Justin Jefferson had 1,000 receiving yards himself. Things are definitely looking brighter, So let's spin the wheel before we head into season number 6, and it's gonna land on the Bengals, just what we needed. While Jamar Chase is the highest rated player on the roster, we desperately need a quarterback, so I'm bringing in Joe Burrow to replace Drake May and reunite him with his LSU teammate Justin Jefferson. With Burrow, Jefferson, and McCaffrey added to our roster, I think we have a good chance to make the playoffs and maybe even lead the league in one of the 6 categories. The team is now up to an 85 overall, which is a big improvement since season number 1. And it really showed as we managed to finish the season with a 12-5 record, earning us a first-round matchup with the Texans. The addition of Joe Burrow skyrocketed our offense to the #1 passing offense in the entire NFL. Heading into our first playoff game, I wonder if we could actually make a run here. Starting off pretty good as we have the lead through the first 2 quarters, and after simming the rest of the game, we just barely hold on and defeat the Texans by 3 points. Next up is Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and unfortunately, the Bills offense came out strong, scoring multiple times, and they managed to extend their lead late in the game thanks to Josh Allen, eliminating us from the playoffs, and we now need to discard another player from my Mutt team. While we fell short of winning the Super Bowl this season, we still have to check if any of our players led the league in one of the 6 stat categories. And they did. Joe Burrow led the entire league with 4,752 passing yards. Unfortunately, no other player topped the category, but at least we've earned an extra superstar wheel spin heading into season number 7. Let's spin our first of 2 spins, and we have to pick a superstar from the Chiefs. Mahomes would have been the obvious choice if we didn't just add Joe Burrow, so I narrowed the choices down to either Travis Kelce or Chris Jones. Both would be really great additions, but I have to give Joe Burrow another playmaker in Travis Kelce in order to shore up our offense. And right into the second wheel spin, wouldn't mind it landing on the Cowboys or the Ravens. Okay, we get the Steelers. Can't be mad as we get to bring in superstar TJ Watt to play with Myles Garrett. And just like that, we now have 2 additional superstar X Factors on our team heading into season number 7. I have a lot of confidence in our team this year, and after simming the entire regular season, we won 15 games, which was good enough for first in the entire NFL. And as you can see, we actually dominated a lot of these games this season, only losing to the Dolphins and the Bills. This is by far our best regular season, with both our offense and defense finishing towards the top of the league. With that record, we also have a first round bye in the playoffs, which means we only need to win 3 more games to lift that Lombardi trophy. We now take on the 14-3 Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. Let's hope we can step up in the snow game and defeat the Bills here. So far, it's looking pretty good as we have the lead. This game continued to go back and forth with both teams struggling to score, but we did manage to hold them off and win by just 4 points. Both our quarterbacks failed to throw a single touchdown this game. Our task does not get any easier as we take on the 14-3 Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. Another snow game in New England where Christian McCaffrey quickly gets us on the board to take the early lead. As we simulate the rest of the first half, we managed to take a big lead, but the Ravens managed to claw their way back, only trailing by 7 points. As we continue on in the second half, we have a 10-point lead, but shortly after, Lamar and the Ravens get all the way down the field, but unfortunately, he gets sacked and they had to settle for 3. Burrow then managed to answer right back with a touchdown pass of his own, and even though the Ravens scored once again, it was not enough as we go on to take down Lamar and the Ravens. It all comes down to the Super Bowl game against the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like we have an elite roster that should be good enough to beat the Vikings. Games are off really good for us, and we take the lead in the first. Okay, and quickly extended that lead to 14 right away, but the Vikings do answer back with a touchdown of their own. The rest of the second quarter went back and forth as both teams add to their score, still have a 7-point lead heading into halftime. Early in the third quarter, we score once again, and the Vikings trail by 14. In the fourth, they do manage to score once again to cut the lead back down to 7. As we sim the rest of the game, can we hold on to this lead? We do kick 3, and they don't score again. We go on to defeat the Vikings and lift the Lombardi trophy after a total of 7 attempts. That does mean we have to discard a total of 6 players from my team, going ahead and discarding George Kittle, Josh Allen, Dexter Lawrence, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Micah Parsons. This hurts my wallet big time, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click on this one right over here. I think you'll really enjoy it.